Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what is illegal, but people continue to do openly without consequences? Littering. Depressed areas or cities typically have high volumes of litter. I own a company that does some FHA and HUD things, and we go to many of these cities. You can just drive down the road and watch people throw trash out of their cars. They live there, and that is just crazy to me. I saw 4 kids sitting in a Honda in the parking lot at McDonald's eating. Every time they would finish something, they would throw it out the window. Sitting parked in the parking lot 30 feet from the trash can by the door. It was infuriating. Also, it was baffling. The only thing I could come up with is that these kids didn't have control of most of the things in their life. And this was their thing that they could rebel against. That they could say, I know people tell me not to, but fuck them. I just wish people would realize we were in this together. The people they are saying fuck you to are themselves as well as their friends and family. People driving while on their phone. I would expand on this to include pretty much all of people's common driving habits. I passed a car one time with a hang up and drive bumper sticker. Driver was shaving with an electric razor on the highway. Airbnb. In a lot of places. I booked an Airbnb in a coastal California town. Once the booking was complete, the owner texted me a completely different address just a few blocks over in a different jurisdiction. They were gaming the system. No way I would accept that. If the rental is at a totally different address from the listing, you can bet your ass Airbnb won't be honoring any sort of insurance or protections they offer. Airbnbs are illegal in my town, because there is a housing crisis. People who don't live here were buying 4 houses at a time, evicting the tenants and turning them all into Airbnbs, leaving nowhere for families to live. Our homeless population went up by a solid 10%. Once our homeless population goes back down in numbers, they may consider lifting the ban. But I doubt it. Edit. Man, y'all seem like a bunch of big city pricks. I'm not replying to any more comments. You're not here, you don't see what I see. Edit 2. There's no room for more homes to be built. It's a tiny coastal tourist town. This is happening where I live. We are a lake town, so owners jacked up rent or evicted when leases are up and then rent too. Fishermen and hunters making more in a week than they were in a month, and the only thing the city seems to be doing about it is bringing fast food restaurants and planning more fishing tournaments. They really don't care that people are being forced to live with family and friends. It's more and more common to have 2 families living under the same roof. Honestly, Airbnb should just get regulated back to its original purpose, as a way for families with an extra room or even a few extra rooms in their house to earn a side hustle. I would simply ban one person using Airbnb for more than 3 to 5 rooms, and call it a day. More than that, and you are a hotel proprietor, and need to deal with that shit. Wage theft almost never gets meaningful consequences. Stealing $1 million from your employees by shorting their hours and doing other intentional labor code and other violations should be treated precisely as harshly as an employee walking out with the safe with $1 million in it. Stealing $20 out of the cash register gets you arrested with a permanent criminal record. Your boss stealing $600 from you with a bounced or non-existent check. Congrats, you're unemployed, and maybe your state's regulating authority will consider looking at it. Or worse, your check and your 401k. I see at least 3 red lights run on a daily basis. Related, but less dangerous. People pulling into intersections without being able to exit the intersection. Too much traffic in front of them. I was stuck at one light for 10 minutes a few days ago. Because people kept blocking traffic this way. People don't know how to merge skull. They either refuse to slow down a bit or refuse to catch up to speed with the rest of the traffic. I feel like hesitant drivers could very well cause accidents. Edit. Grammar. Celebrities' open drug use. Professional athletes' drug use. Politicians doing shit that would get us arrested. Laws are for poor people. They only apply to rich people if they piss off other rich people. Use tax. Where I live, if you buy something in another state without sales tax, but bring it back to your home state, you have to send your home state the tax you should have paid if bought locally. Even if it's pants. Let me get right on that. Lame law. It's actually the very similar with income tax if you live and work in different states that don't have reciprocity. You get a tax credit in your home state for taxes paid to other states. But you still essentially have to pay whichever tax rate is higher. When I lived in Germany, I bought a car, cash, off another American. Like $3 grand. When I moved back to Michigan, they charged me sales tax in order to register it. Thievery. I admit, I broke the law on that one. Same situation. I was living in Egypt and bought a car in one state and took it to another on coming home. In my case, I was coming home and working in Virginia for a month before moving to Washington. I needed a car right away and didn't even think about taxes. So I bought one in Virginia and paid their sales tax on it. When I moved to Washington, they wanted me to pay their sales tax. 10%. On the vehicle. 2. So I just drove the car with Virginia license plates for a year. That's how long you have to have it to avoid that tax. Then registered it in Washington. Politicians accepting bribes. That's right. Everybody should be able to accept bribes, not only them. Rude. Parking in such a way you don't just have a wheel on the curb, but actively block the whole pavement. A wheelchair-using neighbor gets so fed up of it and I can't blame her. Working in a hospital, this gets under my skin when trying to discharge patients. People will park right in front of the slope and my elderly patients can't walk down the curb at times. The amount of people that think that's acceptable is crazy. I go to the hospital a lot and I swear I see it more than I don't.